Larararã. Nossa! Ah, entendi porque tava assim aquele tempo todo.
Oh my god, I can't believe my eyes.
How can she lift that massive rock all by herself?
Eu queria ter
She's
visto,
gotta be
viu?
one of those adepti.
Oh, mighty Adeptus, please give me your blessing so that in the coming year I may reap a
Tem o
more
melhor
bountiful
salário.
salary.
Eu todo.
This is top tier in size and quality, and the condition it's in is quite simply immaculate. Congratulations. This item is approved for submission. I'm going to award you full marks for the Sunset Vermilionite item.
My name isn't important. I'm not even here to compete.
Ah, a gente
I
tá,
was just
gata. Ela
ordering
trouxe pra
this for some
gente.
other people. They should be here any minute now.
Shenhua and Ningguang's little helper.
A Ganil, que é assistente da Ninguang, cadê ela?
Ah, so you're the ones behind this.
Claro,
No
né,
wonder.
gata? As
The
maiores.
rarest talent turns in the rarest plustrite, but I have to correct you on one point. It's not helper, it's secretary.
Okay then, Miss Secretary, what do you think it's
O tom da
about?
Paimon de
Pretty
deboche.
amazing, right?
In truth, it is the finest piece of plustrite we have received so far. If everything goes according to plan, we will use this piece in the foundation of the J. As a side note, Lady Ningguang has rented some dwellings in the nearby area to serve as accommodations for the contestants. If you now, please excuse me. As you can see, there is still.
Shenhua, just now on the way over.
Oh, really?
What kind of reaction is that?
Uhum.
So strange. Aren't you happy about it? Whenever Paimon gets praised, Paimon can't help but hold their head up high.
I've had similar compliments before. They
Nó.
call me an adeptus, treat me with great deference and respect, as if I'm set apart from the common folk.
Yeah, 'cause that's how adepti are. At least the ones we've met are pretty unique and reclusive, too. Way different than normal people.
But I am not.
Shenhua?
I'm fine.
Ai.
I've been exerting myself quite a lot ever since we set foot in that abode. I'm just a little fatigued.
Vai descansar, meu amor.
Well, Byron said that there are some makeshift hotels we can use, right? Let's go check in and...
No need. I simply need to find myself a
Mulher,
secluded place
ai,
in the
esses adeptos é
wilderness
tudo
to
assim,
sit
né?
and meditate in silence.
Tudo bem que ela não é uma, o Xiao também é a mesma coisa. Só fala não pra
You
gente.
can't do that. It's dangerous out in the wild on your
De-
own.
Perigoso, ela acabou de levantar uma pedra do tamanho do mundo.
When you're hungry, you go eat something tasty. And when you're tired, you go lie down in a nice, calm...
Okay. If you insist.
Great! Now we're talking...
E eu, hein, gata? Ai, eu vou subir por ali. Isso, Ayaka, cai mesmo. Eu amo. A quedinha cisgênera. Ah, não, vou andar com a Ayaka mesmo. Se ela andasse aqui e não ficasse presa... Não, vai se fuder, Ayaka. Cadê meu Xiao de volta?
You called?
You God.
Understood.
Pera, é ali? Acho que é aquela casinha, né? Nossa, mas é grande aqui, né? Eu quero curiar primeiro, calma aí. O que que tem aqui em cima? Um grande nada, né? Provavelmente. Ai, tem um guindaste velho. Já tinha isso aqui antes? Não, né? Ou tinha? Tinha, né? Ali não podia ir. Não me lembro, não. A casinha... Essa casinha tinha? Acho que... Não, só tinha aquela, né? Não sei também.
Hi there. Checking in, are we? Since this was chosen, so
Great!
one of your rooms is still being cleaned. I
João.
guess it should be ready with here are your keys. All right.
Shenhe, you should go get some rest. We'll hang around us. Paimon's gonna go see if there's anything good to eat around here. Let's buy one for Shen.
All right. I will head to my room for now. If you need anything, don't hesitate to disturb me. I'm a light sleeper. I will hear if you knock on the door.
Bom descanso,
See you
amada.
tomorrow.
Até amanhã.
Hey, isn't that Claveratina? What's she doing here?
É a gordofóbica. Vamos lá falar com ela. Ué, cadê a gata? Ah, tá ali. Nossa, nem pra ela parar aqui embaixo, né? Ela tem que ir lá pra cima. Pra fazer eu escalar. Garcinha abusada, viu?
One trusts you have met Shenhe. So, are you getting along quite well?
Sim.
Far so good, yeah.
Naturally. Save for Ganyu, who spends the majority of her time in Liyue Harbor. All the Adepti living today are acquainted with Shen.
Cool. So, what's her Adeptus name anyway? Calling her Shenhe feels kind of friendly, but also kind of disrespectful. So Paimon's thinking,
Her Adeptus name.
Ela não é adepte, porra. Pra que ela vai...
Adeptus name.
Isso aí, Redentora. Pisa nessa pai, meu nojenta.
don't all Adepti have a...
On this latter point, you are correct. However, Shenhe is human.
Oh, right.
Nossa, gente.
What? You knew already?
Ué, se ela não é adepte, ela é o quê? Um monstro?
Do you
Ela é
mean
humana,
to
né,
say
porra?
that she presents differently from ordinary human beings?
Well, to start with, her problem-solving methods are...
Ah, yes.
Oh, isso gemido dela. Oh.
In this respect, she has not changed. One
Ai.
first found Shenhe by chance in a cave. One was passing by and sensed the presence of a god's remains. Inside was Shenhe, then aged around 6 years old. In her hand, she held a dagger with which she was confronting a monster.
Tá.
That sounds so dangerous.
When one arrived, she had already been locked in confrontation with this monster for several days. Most mortal children are fragile, but that she was able to endure such terrible danger was due not only to her strong willpower, but also to the bloodlust and
Dá pra ver a
homicidal
Dragon
instinct
Spine.
with which she was born.
Meu Deus.
One dealt with the monster, yet she still refused to lower her guard. She even pointed her dagger in one's direction and remained ready to strike. Only after she was satisfied that one had no intent.
In other words, if you hadn't passed by that day, Shenhe might have...
Not necessarily. Upon one's arrival, one could sense that the god's wrath was gradually receding. Even had the stalemate continued, one suspects that
That's still so dangerous, though. Why was a tiny little kid
Pois
battling
é.
against...
alas, the mortal world is rife with suffering of every kind. And she had experienced her fair share of this, even at a tender age. Seeing that she was... Indeed, it is one to whom she refers. Shenhe has an
A
extraordinary
Ganil nunca falou
constitution,
dela.
making her well adapted to practicing the Adepti arts. However, her homicidal urges did not subside with age. Rather, they grew stronger day by day. Mooncarver once performed a divination for her. He declared that her fate is to bear the curse of calamity.
Nossa, por quê?
Consumed by malevolent energy,
Ela não
she
trata
is
mal, não.
prone to bring harm to those around her. Such is the magnitude of the red ropes have indeed
Ave
served
Maria.
to keep her calmer
Coitada.
and more content. They also seem to have rendered her somewhat inexpressive.
Inexpressiva totalmente.
Perhaps the
Sem
red
expressão
ropes are
nenhuma.
so powerful that they have
Simplesmente não
suppressed
reage.
some of her other emotions as well.
Ou ela que vem no Coreá, ou é a Ganil.
It is only by fate that people's paths may cross. Now that Shenhe's path has crossed with yours, please be sure
Cuido.
to treasure the gift that fate has given you.
Oh, now Paimon gets it. You came out here to check up on Shenhe
Ai,
because you were worried about her, didn't you?
provavelmente.
You dare draw such a
Olha que
facile
abuso dessa
conclusion on the
gata.
nature of one's present excursion. Incorrect. The truth is that while Liyue Harbor may seem peaceful today, danger is always lurking. And Ningguang once made a bold assertion that this is to be the era of the contract between Liyue and the humans.
Olha o erro de tradução. Meu
One
Deus.
is most curious to observe how she will respond. If she handles it admirably, one is willing to be a witness to her achievements. Let us conclude our conversation here for today. One has occupied enough of your time, and night is approaching.
So, Shenhe isn't an Adeptus after all.
Pois
She just
é.
grew up around the Adepti.
Ainda fala que não veio pela Shanhan. Tá bom.
Oh, no
Gata,
wonder she doesn't like being
eu
treated
sei que
as
você
an
não gosta da Ganil
Adeptus.
porque ela é
Why
gorda.
can't everyone falling over themselves to show their respect all the time
Ah,
must
tem
be
que
kinda
esperar
hard to
até
deal with?
ficar zoando a pobre coitada. Eu nem vi a hora que era pra esperar. Acho que era até meio-dia, né? Tique, 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 tique. Ai, não para de chover.
Hey, so, Shenhe,
Master has relayed my situation to you, I take it?
oh,
Sim,
how
gata.
did you know?
I
Ela
didn't
tem
intend to
sonoleve,
wait until you
entendeu?
came back before going to sleep, but I didn't hear you come in. I was worried that something may have happened to you, so I went outside to check and caught sight of my master. On top of this, you have been acting very strangely around me this morning, causing me to suspect that my master must have told you everything about me. After all, master is very talkative.
Fofoqueira. Fofoqueira.
Sorry, Shenhe. Paimon had you down as an Adeptus this whole time, but it turns out Paimon was wrong.
Ela não parece uma adepta.
It's okay. I don't mind. The fault is mine for not explaining everything to you sooner, because in my experience, trying to
Ela não tem
explain is a
chifre,
futile
não tem
pursuit.
nada.
Still, though you mistook me for an Adeptus, you never
Eu
treated
não
me
sei
as
como a
distant
Madame
and
Ping é uma
unapproachable.
adepta, até hoje não me desce.
Instead, you treated me as you would a friend.
Aquilo tem que ser um disfarce, não é possível. Pera aí, ainda que vocês me confundissem com adeptos, mas nunca me trataram como distância inalcançável. Ao invés de sempre me trataram como
For
amiga.
this, I am very grateful indeed.
De
To be
nada.
fair, we've met our fair share of real Adepti, too. Anyway, now it's settled. From now on, you're our friend.
O
Whether you're an
menino não vai
Adeptus or a
aparecer não, né?
human
O
isn't the
Chongyun.
important thing. First and foremost, we're just plain
Chongyun.
old friends.
Got it. Although I don't know quite what it entails in terms of what I have to do, I must say I like the title friend very much indeed.
Great! Well, now that we're all rested up, we should start searching for the... But before we do that, let's go to the building site. After all, Oh, and another thing. We bought some grilled chicken drumsticks on the way back last night. There was a place just outside.
Pois
Here's
bora.
one for you, Shenhe. Try it. They're so good.
Ela tem que cuidar do sobrinho. Os dois é
It has a
apático.
rich flavor, far more agreeable than those I've cooked for myself in the wilderness in the past.
Quem tá aqui? Quem tá aqui? Ai, um dia. Amo.
Look, the Jade Chamber is floating into the sky.
Nossa, mas já construiu? Que merda é essa?
But it seems to be tied down by something.
Pra não voar, né, otária? Lá pra cima.
That's because it's not finished.
Hey, Bywin! And hey, Beidou!
Beidou
Hey,
também.
person Paimon doesn't know?
É a Yundinha maior.
Given the enormous enormous scale of the Jade Chamber, we split the construction work into 2 phases to make sure the structure remains balanced. Before we find some suitable plastrite, we build the Jade Chamber's keel at ground level. Once the plastrite is ready, we place it into the keel and let the partially constructed Jade Chamber rise up to the height of the surrounding mountain peaks. The remainder of the construction work is then carried out at that altitude. Once everything is ready, we release the iron tethers and allow the Jade Chamber to rise to its target altitude.
Miss Bywin, we've brought some new materials to submit.
One moment, I'll be right. The construction work has only been able to progress this rapidly thanks to the plastrite provided by you. Lady Ningguang is most grateful and looks forward to seeing more of your work.
Wow, can't believe you sourced the plastrite so quickly. It's the key
Tá
piece of the
passada?
puzzle. Looks like you beat us to the punch.
Beto, you're joining the Jade Chamber contest too?
Tá aqui pela Ningguang, que eu sei.
Sure am. I happened to get my hands on a chunk of sunset vermilionite on a voyage a while back, so I figured I'd bring it over.
Huh. So even though it's rare, we're not the only ones who managed to get a hold of it.
Oh, I've got some introductions to do. This is the
Aleluia,
renowned
né?
Miss Yun, or Yunjin, probably the most famous figure in the Liyue opera scene.
Olha como ela é linda.
Greetings.
These two are Paimon and the Traveler, both good buddies of mine. And this is,
Shanha.
sorry, not sure we've met.
Shenhe. I am their friend.
Good to meet you. A friend of a friend is my friend too. Or, as I like to say, a mate of a crewmate is part of the crew. Miss Yun is also here for the contest. Turns out she needed to borrow a boat, so we came together.
It's an honor to finally meet you both. I've heard much about you. Miss Shenhe, though we are only meeting for the first time, I have a feeling that we will get along very well indeed.
Espero
To
que
be
sim.
honest with you all, I am in great need of this opportunity to ask Lady Ningguang a question. That's why I joined the contest. Thanks to my
Por causa de uma
father's
pergunta.
connections, I was able to acquire a specimen of the plastrite required. Fortunately, it was approved for submission, despite being a little on the diminutive side. Wow! So it looks like the 3 of us are competitors now! Excuse me for prying, Miss Shenhe, but are you competing as well?
Não.
No, I don't have any questions for Ningguang. I just wanted to help her win.
In that case, I have a proposal to make. Lady Ningguang said that the first 3 contestants to procure all 3 materials will be awarded the chance to ask a question. Well, there are 3 teams here. We can split the prize between us.
Com
Instead of
certeza.
competing against each other, we could work together to secure the top 3 places between us. What do you think? Sounds great, but how does it change things exactly?
I think I see where you're going with this, Miss Yoon. The plastrite was the most difficult item to source by a long shot. Luckily, all 3 of us managed to get our hands on it. The 2 remaining items aren't quite so rare, so as long as one of us finds a way to source
Como não?
it,
Como é
the
que ela
other
vai
2 can
achar
hop on the bandwagon. How'd
Como
I
é que,
do? Is that what you had in mind?
como é que ela vai achar
Precisely.
um selo de
Huh.
adepto? Tem que ver a
Interesting
gente.
approach.
Okay then. All right, I'll go first. I have some leads. From what I've heard, the core itself is really not that difficult to make. The hard part is getting hold of the ore used.
We will head into town and seek advice from Master Zhang of Hanfeng's Ironmongers.
E lá vamos nós.
Wonderful. I'm gonna take off. See you later.
Até mais.
Okay, let's go! By the way, what question are you gonna ask? I'm looking for a venue to host the performance of our new opera. Lady Ningguang has excellent judgment, so I
Ai,
would like to
gente.
hear her
Tudo isso
opinion.
pra
Ooh,
perguntar
what's
isso,
that
gata.
about?
Tem vergonha na cara
Anyone
dela.
wants to go see it? The opera is a labor of love by my father. He wrote it based on a popular urban legend about an evil spirit and an adeptus. It's called
Será que a gente vai ver ela se apresentando? Tomara que sim. Ela vai cantar na inauguração, será? Da Câmara de Jade? Ai, eu vou teleportar. Deus me livre. quero a cutscene logo. Quero comer.
Ah, hello. Are you here for something?
Excuse me, Master Zhang. We were wondering if you'd heard of something called a Wonder Core.
Of course I have. Sorry, who's asking?
Who's
My
asking?
name is Yunjin. Perhaps you don't know me, but I believe that you forged some weaponry for my father in the past for stage use.
Ai, a maquiagem dela é muito bonita.
Yunjin? Stage use? Sorry. My brain's finally caught up. It's not used to doing much beyond bashing a hammer. So, you're here to ask about Wonder Cores, huh? As it happens, I do know how to make them. Matter of fact, I made some for Lady Ning. The types of ore needed to make Wonder Cores are a little hard to come by. Lady Ningguang supplied them herself last time. I don't suppose you've brought any yourselves?
No, we were gonna ask you what kinds of ore we need.
Sure. Well, you'll need two kinds. Star
Ah,
Splitter
não.
iron and Subrosium.
Subrosa? Que porra é essa?
If I remember correctly, Lady Ningguang sourced her Star Splinter iron from the Mount Tianheng area. They say it could take some work, but if you stick with it, you'll find some... I'm really not sure. Sorry. Of course, it's probably just hearsay. If you want my...
Mount Tianheng.
Interestingly enough, the story of the divine dam... I hear the view there is quite Perhaps it can give me some inspiration. Let's...
Porra, de novo aqui? Fica, sei lá, na montanha. Mas falou um monte.
I came to Mount Tianheng once with my father as a child. I remember it being such a long climb that I could barely feel my legs by the time we reached the top. This is quite a trip down memory lane for me. Look at these majestic, towering peaks. And the gently... No wonder the legend of the divine
The Divine Damsel of Devastation is your upcoming opera, right? What's the story about, though?
It's the story of a girl.
Cool. A hero story?
The legend first arose in this area. In that village, there was a loving couple.
Tá.
The wife was out the vile and vicious monster.
What a nasty piece of work. Paimon sure hopes this...
But the monster was so
A
terrible and
borboleta,
so
que bonitinha.
strong that all within the... Just while they were discussing whose child would be given over to the monster, unbeknownst to anybody else, she was concealing an exorcist's
É
blade.
a
She
lenda
approached the
dela.
monster's lair, feigning fear and trepidation. Her extraordinary abilities drew the attention of the Adepti, and they took her as one of their own.
É
Her
a lenda
story
dela,
became
né?
the stuff of legends. But alas, the paths of mortals and Adepti
Já parei de
seldom
pular.
cross, and she would never again re-enter the mortal world. And so, destined to grace the mortal realm for but a brief moment, she vanished like a wisp of smoke into
Olha
thin
pra
I
ela.
really like this story.
É
But
sobre
I
você.
personally think that perhaps the little girl was... I'm not sure she deserves all the praise she is given.
I've never considered opera is always an interpretation of the events it purports to portray. A certain degree of deviation from the truth is always inevitable. When my father wrote the script for this play, I suppose his intention was to inspire his audience.
I think it's a great story. The ideal story.
Well, it sure inspired Paimon. Let's go get her.
Paimon. Sempre eufórica. Usa a visão. Tô usando. Cadê? Eu não tenho que subir não, né? Ah, eu não vou aceitar. Amei. Mostrou nada. Mostrou slime, velho. Eu vou ter que subir ali. Ah, se for só ler, tá bom. Skyler, tchau. Eu tô vendo barulho. É aquilo lá, né?
This should be enough Star Splinter Iron. Now we just need to find that Subrosium.
I think I saw a village on our way here. Master Zhong said we should ask the locals for help. Why don't we try there?
Vamos tentar então.
Hey, there really is someone here.
Aqui não fica cheio de ladrão.
Yunjin, looks like you were right. Excuse us, sir. Can we ask you something? Huh. He didn't seem to catch that.
Hello, sir. We were just passing by and wanted to ask if you happen to know anything about Subrosium.
Subrosium. Ali é mudo, será?
Is he trying to tell us to look for clues in the village? Shenhua, Yunjin.
Sorry, you can go ahead without me. I'd like to have a word with this gentleman. If that's okay with you, Uncle Mingjin.
Tio? Tudo bom?
It's...
Shenhe.
Shinho. You're alive. The rumors were true.
Plot twist.
All these years? I'm sorry, I don't know how to find Subrosium. But I think you can find some information in the village.
Ah, eu vou ter
This
que
place
ler.
is deserted now. No one ever comes here.
Huh? You know this guy?
Acabou de falar que é tio dela.
Thank you, kind sir. We'll go and take a look around. Don't worry. Mingjin has no ill intention towards Miss Shenhe. She'll be quite safe.
Okay, then let's see what we can find in this village.
Deixa ela botar o papo em dia aí.
What's this?
Ai, não. O médico disse que estava gravemente doente. Não se preocupe, eu farei de tudo que posso para te salvar. Meu coração sangra sempre que vejo você ficar mais cansada. Sua doença sem tratamento, como eu gostaria de poder sofrer essa dor por você. Você disse que não se arrepende de nada nessa vida e que só deseja que eu cuide bem da Shanhan. Mas se você não se arrepende de nada, por que as lágrimas? Eu não sei o que tenho feito ultimamente, embora eu ainda respire, sinto-me como uma concha vazia. Li todos os textos antigos em que pude colocar minhas mãos, procurando maneiras de salvá-la, mas é totalmente inútil. Finalmente encontrei. Afinal, Mingjun tinha escondido o livro que poderia salvá-la. Peguei o livro e segui as instruções nele para convocar um deus e oferecer a um sacrifício. Meu Deus. Galera, tudo bom? O deus apareceu. Eu lhe disse que estava disposto a trocar por sua vida. A sua. Por. Pera. Eu lhe disse que estava disposto a trocar por sua vida pela minha. Ele ficou calado e se apontou para nossa filha Shanhan. O deus disse que seu destino era suportar a maldição da calamidade e que ela era propensa a trazer danos a seus próximos. O deus também disse que ela poderia até ter sido a causa de sua morte. Nesse caso, eu achei que deveria. Eu a deixei na caverna onde o deus desapareceu. 3 dias se passaram e eu não ouvi notícias dela. Estou esperando inquieta, tomando por um mau pressentimento. Sinto muito, Shanhan. Sinto muito por você. Como eu fui estúpido. Deixe-me pedir desculpa a você e a nossa filha pessoalmente. Ou seja, abandonar a coitada por causa da merda deles, em vez de procurar ajuda, né? Que pais bons, né, amados?
So,
Amaldiçoar a
is that
filha
the fine
dele.
damsel? Now that I think about it, She does behave rather like an adeptus, and she is about the right age. So that's why I've been getting the strangest feeling whenever I chat with her.
É,
I should
gata.
have noticed it. According to this text, the divine damsel from the opera was actually the daughter of the loving couple. And she didn't volunteer. She was Oh, the truth is even more lamentable than the opera.
É,
Now I
gata. Sofreu
understand why
mais que a
Shenhe said the
Juliette.
girl was not as brave as people think. It wasn't her choice to
Desumano.
enter that ghastly situation. She was
Desumano. Desumanos. O que tá acontecendo comigo?
It looks like my father may need to make a few revisions to his beloved opera.
Ué, ainda tem mais? Ai, tem que ler textão, é? Ai,
So it
esse é
seems
menor.
that Shenhe's father thought he was summoning a benevolent deity using a magic incantation. But in fact, he summoned an evil
Burro pra
god's
caralho.
remains, which took the form of a monster.
É, literalmente, em vez dele chamar um deus, ele chamou um monstro, tá? Uma ramificação de uma família de justiça costumava viver no leste da vila, mas em cerca de 2 semanas a mãe morreu de uma doença. A jovem filha desapareceu. Pouco tempo depois, o pai se enforcou numa árvore no quintal da sua própria casa. Gente, que pesado, credo. Foi confirmado que foram encontrados vestígios dos restos mortais de um deus maligno na vila. Os aldeões estão em pânico, pois ninguém tem certeza se os restos mortais do deus maligno se foi para sempre. Tenha cuidado que você que estiver nessa área. Gente,
His obsessive yearning for his
a Mihoyo
deceased
foi
wife.
deep
Still,
agora, viu?
I do wonder what the connection is between Shenhe.
We've looked everywhere, but still no mention of Sabrosium.
Mulher, agora eu quero saber da fofoca. Foda-se o. Tá aqui em cima, é? A magia gravada no Subrosium não se desgasta facilmente. Alguns acreditam que a pedra é uma ponte entre os vivos e os mortos. No entanto, encontrar Subrosium não é uma tarefa fácil. Você precisa estar no lugar certo na hora certa. A lenda diz que você pode encontrar Subrosium se estiver no meio do lago ao sul do Monte Tianheng ao anoitecer e olhar na direção do sol se pondo. Ah, minha filha, é um puzzle agora? Um puzzle uma hora dessa? Vou até tirar foto pra mim não perder isso aqui. O lado sul, minha filha. Eu não sei o lado sul da vida real, vou saber do jogo. Se liga, hein?
So basically, we need to go to the middle of the lake. Let's go back and tell
Ai, que bom, já tem a localização. Ai, achei que era aquelas coisas que ia ter que ficar, né? Achei que era um puzzlezinho.
One year when I was back visiting, I heard a story about a white-haired adeptus from a merchant passing by. I never imagined it was you. I was a very close friend of your father's. I could have stopped him from performing the summoning ritual. I had plenty of chances, but I couldn't bring myself to stand up to him.
Agora eu vou
just
ter
let
que te
things
matar,
happen,
tô
let it all
brincando.
escalate. I bring flowers back here every year. And each time I wish I had a chance to
Mas não foi
apologize
culpa
to you.
sua, foi meu pai e minha mãe que fizeram o ritual.
Apologize for what? If you'd stopped him, he'd only have found another way.
Verdade.
There is nothing he wouldn't have done for his true love.
Do you still hate him?
Deve odiar,
I
né?
don't know what I feel. I'm told my fate is to bear the curse of calamity, so my master bound my soul with red ropes to curb my aggression. But it also dampened my
Ah, então a ult
emotions,
dela
making
é
me
a
not as
alma dela,
passionate,
né?
like the
Mesmo.
Adepti.
Eu tava certo. Não é só um avatar. Quando ela voltar, ela libera a alma dela violenta pra dar surra nos
So if you
monstros.
ask me how I feel about the past, if I hate my father or not,
It must have been so tough for you all these years.
Foi mesmo.
Shenhe, we're back!
Oh, then I will leave you all in peace. Shenhe, it brings me some solace. I'll
Sakura.
tell you more about the old times next time we meet.
Thanks, mister. We found some info in the end.
Ai, Undine, seu olho é tão bonito.
Shenhe, look! This tells us how to find Subrosia.
Let's go then.
Tadinha.
Miss Shenhe, there's something I'd like to talk to you about. Just now, in the village, we found your father's diary. It turns out that many of the details in the Divine Damsel of Devastation are not true to the facts.
Why?
I know I say that opera always deviates from the truth, but now that the main character is standing right here in front of me, I cannot simply dismiss your lived experience.
It's okay. I like your version.
But,
My master once said that the day I learn how to use my strength for the good of others is the day that I can truly become part of human society. So,
Ali é o
I
contrário
hope
da
that
Ganil,
one
né?
day I might be brave enough to stand up and protect
Na verdade,
others,
nem tanto.
just like the girl in the opera.
Que a Ganil não se sente bem-vinda em lugar nenhum, né?
But I've never thought this way before.
E ela
and I
só não
wonder
sabe
whether I
interagir.
don't worry. I believe you will. In fact, I think maybe you've already started to become the person you aspire to be. You just...
Shenhe! Yunjin! Cut the chit-chat! We can't let someone else beat us to it!
Cala a boca, pai, irmão. Sua doente. É um momento tocante. E essa menina fica pensando em competição. Tem vergonha na cara, não? Desumano. Ah, por isso que tem uns babados afundados aqui, não é? É aqui que tem, não é? É aqui mesmo, gato. Tudo explicado. Eu não olhei a hora. 5h30. Tico, 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 tico. Pararam. É hora da cutscene? Deixa eu pegar minha pipoca, então. Ai, que lindo. É o Shell ali. Eu de tonta, né? Achando que ia ser uma cutscene. É o Shell, passada. De dor ele entende. Coitado. É outro também que só sofre. O Rex Lápis aqui, amor.
What brings you here?
Não é você.
They found a solution to the danger in the sea.
Os
Ningguang
perigos do
didn't tell
mar.
you. Something has happened in Guyan Stone Forest.
Uh,
According to the contract, as an adeptus, I should not get involved, but these things can be unpredictable.
Vai
I
ter
have a
luta?
contingency
É, eu
plan
quero.
of my own. Only a single mountain lies between here and Leo. If things get out of control, I will defend this place myself.